Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Vernon Billy with EdBrief. We are pleased to have with us today State Controller John Chiang. John, you have become a major figure in the state's budget discussions because of your objections to the governor's request to reduce state employees' pay down to the minimum wage in order to save the state money. Can you provide our viewers with some insight as to why you believe the governor's request is unwarranted?
First and foremost, we need to put people above politics. I understand the governor's frustration that there's a budget impasse, that we continue to have these battles year after year. But what's most important is we do the right thing by the people, for the people, and that is to pay the hardworking public servants of California their correct and appropriate wage. They have families, they have to pay bills, whether it's that tank of gas, whether it's the food on the table, whether it's that mortgage payment. They've done the right thing, we ought to do the right thing for them. Secondly, we have to make sure that we pay the federal wage appropriately. If we pay the incorrect wage, the state of California and our Treasury is subject to federal penalties that could be 2 to 3 times the original payments that are owed for people's salaries. We shouldn't be engaged in that type of unnecessary exposure to risk, and frankly the litigation. It also provides for unnecessary use of resources. A California versus California lawsuit is not the right thing to do. Those dollars ought to be paying for the most critical services, the things that are going to improve California's future: education, healthcare, public safety, transportation.
Let me turn to another topic that I believe you have invested an unprecedented amount of time and resources in since becoming controller, and that is the issue of education mandates and the mandate process. I don't believe any of your predecessors have taken such a collaborative approach with the education community to help improve everyone's understanding about the mandate process. How is this effort going?
Well, it's a top priority for me. My first meeting as the state controller was with the Education Coalition to discuss this very issue. We really need to get California's fiscal house in order, and part of that is to do the right thing and pay the correct amount of monies when the state creates an obligation. Conceivably, we could have a student who's entered into kindergarten and the school may not be paid back until that child enters into high school. That is bad budgeting for the state. Future generations are going to have to make those obligations. That's bad budgeting for the school districts who do the right thing. We create the obligation, and yet we tell people we're not going to give you the money to provide our kids a world-class education, which in this global economy they certainly need.
As controller and one of the state's constitutional officers, what are your general thoughts about the direction of education in the state of California as you look at where the state is distributing its resources?
Well, clearly, our values are reflected in the financial resources that we put into them. And education is going to continue to drive the California economy. It's going to continue to drive the California society. I'm the product of immigrants who came to this country in the 1950s from Taiwan. My dad came here with 3 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, worked multiple jobs to pay for his PhD. That's how much he valued education. And it was that entrepreneurial, it was that social spirit, it was that personal accomplishment and hard work that changes America. The only way we're going to create that next generation of individuals who include Nobel laureates who are going to discover the cure for cancer, who are going to create that next technology, especially environmental technology, that's going to save this world, is by creating the opportunity for kids to love what they want to learn, and frankly to create a structure, a physical infrastructure, a social structure where teachers, their parents can create a supportive environment where kids will live their dreams.